In a shocking twist, the FBI uncovered a hidden secret beneath the opulent mansion of film legend Gene Hackman. What began as a routine investigation quickly turned terrifying when FBI agents discovered a mysterious tunnel hidden beneath the estate. What they found inside left them stunned with shock. Strange objects, hidden secrets, and cryptic clues only raised more questions than answers. What truly lies beneath Hackman's mansion? Join us as we dive into this chilling case and uncover the shocking discoveries that could change everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates on this mystery. As the light passed through a dark corner of the tunnel, an old iron door materialized. There was no handle, only a heavy, rusted lock, worn down by time. What or who could be hidden behind this door? Could it be connected to the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, or is there an even darker secret that authorities are trying to keep hidden? The FBI agents have stayed tight-lipped about what they actually discovered, but rumors are quickly circulating. Some believe the tunnel leads to an undiscovered underground network, while others suspect it holds evidence of a conspiracy that's been buried for decades. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. This case is just beginning. In an old wooden crate, the agents uncovered a strange set of tools. Some seemed to belong to a skilled craftsman, while others resembled devices used for mysterious experiments. Skeptical glances were exchanged. What really happened in this hidden space? As they dug deeper, they discovered strange markings carved into the walls and mysterious symbols scattered across the floor. This unsettling scene raised numerous questions. Are these simply remnants of Hackman's past, or do they point to something darker and far more dangerous? The discovery only deepened the mystery, leaving agents to wonder if they had stumbled upon something that had been concealed for decades. Each item they uncovered fueled wilder theories about the secrets Hackman might have been hiding. The answer seemed to lie within the tunnel itself, a mysterious passageway that could hold the key to a truth everyone is desperate to uncover. As investigators cautiously pieced together scattered clues, the public watched with bated breath, eagerly awaiting each new development in the case. The truth, still cloaked in shadows, promises to be more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Gene Hackman's estate has long been renowned not only for its multi-million-dollar value, but also for its mysterious aura. Nestled in a secluded area, surrounded by towering walls and a massive gate, the mansion stands like an impenetrable fortress, where wealth and secrets seem to intertwine. Every aspect of the estate, from the meticulously manicured gardens to the opulent rooms, exudes an air of intrigue. However, behind its grand facade lies a shocking discovery, a hidden tunnel beneath the ground. This secret passage has ignited countless theories. Could it have served as an escape route during a crisis, or was it constructed to conceal highly classified documents and valuable items? The mystery surrounding the tunnel only deepens, raising more questions than answers. The tunnel not only raises questions about the mansion, but also about Hackman's enigmatic life. What's even more troubling is the meticulous attention to detail in the design and security of the estate, as if there was a deliberate effort to hide certain aspects of his past. With every new clue, the mansion becomes a labyrinth of secrets, fueling public curiosity and keeping everyone guessing. The case took an even more shocking turn when the FBI uncovered the tunnel during their investigation into Hackman's suspicious death. How could such a hidden passage exist for so many years without anyone knowing? The mystery surrounding it only deepens, prompting even more speculation about what Hackman was truly hiding. Initial reports suggest that the tunnel may have been constructed many years ago, possibly for a specific yet unknown purpose. Some speculate it could have been a secret passage to help Hackman protect his privacy, while bolder theories propose that it leads to a hidden underground safe room. There are even whispers that the tunnel might connect to neighboring houses, hinting at an undiscovered secret network. Each new theory only adds to the intrigue, deepening the mystery surrounding Hackman's estate and the shocking discoveries that continue to unfold. As investigators delved deeper, they began uncovering a series of strange clues. Old documents, unidentified devices, and, most intriguingly, mysterious symbols etched into the walls. One agent described them as resembling an unsolved code system. This raised unsettling questions. Was Hackman hiding evidence of a secret project, or was he simply obsessed with the idea of creating an underground refuge? The symbols, the hidden devices, and the deliberate secrecy only added to the growing speculation, suggesting there may be far more to the mansion and Hackman's life than anyone ever imagined. Investigators are now reviewing property records to determine if local contractors or previous owners were aware of the tunnel's existence. Some nearby residents have recalled strange stories about workers mysteriously disappearing after working at the mansion, fueling further speculation. Others believe the tunnel could simply be an old escape route, designed for safety during earlier times. As more information comes to light, the mystery deepens, and the possibility of a hidden history connected to the mansion becomes even more compelling. As public attention surrounding the tunnel intensifies, rumors spread like wildfire. Some believe it's where Hackman hid a secret treasure, while others speculate that underground dealings may have taken place. But is the tunnel merely a relic of the past? Or could it hold the key to a much larger mystery? This discovery has ignited an unprecedented level of investigation, with authorities and the public alike eager to uncover the truth behind what lies beneath Hackman's mansion. The more investigators uncover, the more it seems like the tunnel could be connected to something far more complex and dangerous than anyone ever imagined. The discovery of the tunnel beneath Gene Hackman's mansion has been nothing short of shocking, especially when combined with the strange circumstances surrounding the deaths of the actor and his wife, Betsy. As investigators dig deeper into the case, many are beginning to question whether the tunnel holds vital clues about what truly happened in their final days. The mysterious passageway, coupled with the odd details of their deaths, suggests there could be more to this story than anyone initially thought, raising the possibility of a dark and complex truth hidden beneath the mansion's walls. The mysterious deaths of Hackman and his wife, Betsy, coupled with the eerie circumstances surrounding the discovery of the tunnel, have made its existence all the more suspicious. Some speculate it could have been a secret escape route, allowing someone to slip in or out of the mansion undetected. But the bigger question remains: who would need such an escape route, and why? As agents continue to investigate the strange items found within the tunnel, they are carefully piecing together clues that might shed light on the deaths of Hackman and Betsy. The old documents, photographs, and bizarre objects could hold the key to uncovering a hidden side of Hackman's life, one he never shared with the public. The cryptic symbols etched into the walls only deepen the mystery, suggesting a larger story, perhaps involving secret dealings or hidden relationships that Hackman kept buried for years. Neighbors and old friends of Hackman began to share their recollections, each revealing new and unsettling details. Some recalled strange conversations with Hackman, hinting at unresolved troubles he had never openly addressed, while others spoke of mysterious guests who came and went at night, leaving the community wondering what secrets were hidden behind the mansion's thick walls. As the investigation unfolds, the connection between the tunnel and the suspicious deaths of Hackman and his wife remains an open question. Every new clue brings the potential for uncovering the truth, but it also deepens the mystery, leaving everyone on edge about what will be revealed next. The growing silence from authorities has only intensified public suspicion. The secret tunnels, strange markings, and baffling artifacts found beneath Gene Hackman's mansion should have provided clear answers, but officials remain frustratingly tight-lipped. Every statement from the authorities is brief and vague, like missing pieces in an unfinished puzzle. The FBI has thoroughly searched every corner of the underground tunnel system, and the items discovered beneath the mansion hint at an untold story. Yet, as the public eagerly waits for an explanation, all they receive is continued silence. Key questions still hang in the air. What was the tunnel built for? Who entered and exited it? And most importantly, what secrets are being kept hidden beneath the ground? In a shocking twist, the FBI uncovered a secret tunnel beneath Gene Hackman's mansion, and what they found inside left them speechless with amazement. Among the items discovered were old, dusty cell phones with cracked screens filled with unread messages, fragments that could reveal secret conversations, hidden transactions, or unsent warnings. A crumpled calendar, marked with chaotic notes and important dates, appeared to be a timeline of an untold story. Each discovery deepens the mystery, raising more questions about Hackman's hidden life and the truth behind the deaths that have captivated the public. At 11 a.m., the world was rocked by the latest developments in the mysterious death of legendary actor Gene Hackman. According to ABC News, authorities obtained a search warrant for his $4 million mansion in New Mexico. However, what they uncovered inside has taken the case in an even more chilling and unpredictable direction. When FBI agents entered Gene Hackman's luxurious mansion, they immediately sensed something was off. The faint traces within the house didn't appear to be signs of an accident or natural death, but something far more unsettling. The real shock came when they uncovered a hidden passage deep beneath the estate, a tunnel that wasn't on the house's blueprints, leading into a dark, mysterious space. If you find this story fascinating and want to dive deeper into more unsolved mysteries, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you won't miss any updates on this case. Share the video with your friends and family to discuss the chilling discoveries beneath Gene Hackman's mansion. If you have any theories about the hidden secrets behind this case, leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll continue to follow and bring you the latest developments, helping you uncover the truth behind this gripping story. As the agents descended the old staircase, their flashlight beams swept across the cold stone walls, revealing a sight that left everyone in shock. Beneath the lavish mansion of a Hollywood legend, they uncovered a storage room filled with mysterious items, seemingly forgotten for years. Stacked wooden crates, covered in dust, filled the space, creating a chilling atmosphere straight out of a horror movie. Some crates had rotted with time, while others remained intact, as though they had never been touched in decades. When an agent opened the lid of one crate, what they discovered left the entire room in stunned silence. Inside were old, yellowed photographs of mysterious people, unfamiliar faces from a different time. Some images depicted secret meetings, strange locations, and individuals whose identities remained a complete mystery. Alongside the photos were old files bound with weathered leather straps, the papers darkened with age and filled with hastily scribbled notes, documenting events that no one could have imagined. In another crate, the agents uncovered a series of personal items, including a vintage pocket watch, some jewelry, and a small notebook filled with handwritten notes. The contents of the notebook appeared to be confessions or memories of something deeply significant. But that wasn't all. As they sifted through the items, they found something far more chilling hidden beneath the notebook, something that could change the course of the investigation forever. Additionally, agents discovered strange encounters with unknown names, locations that didn't appear on any map, and mysterious vials, evidence that raised suspicions of a secret treatment, an experimental drug, or even a dark conspiracy. Some vials remained sealed while others had clearly been used, but no one knew what they contained or who had used them. Each item uncovered seemed to be a piece of a much larger puzzle, pointing to a story someone had desperately tried to keep hidden. The mystery surrounding Hackman's life and his death was only deepening, leaving more questions than answers. Every small clue could be the key to unlocking the truth, and each new discovery inches them closer to unraveling the mystery within Hackman's mansion. The tension is palpable as everyone holds their breath, unsure whether a horrifying secret will finally be exposed or if these fragmented pieces will remain an unsolved puzzle forever. The deeper they dig, the more elusive the answers become, leaving the public on edge, waiting for the final revelation that may, or may not, ever come. As the investigation progresses, every new clue only deepens the mystery surrounding Gene Hackman and his mansion. Strange discoveries in the basement, mysterious items, and unexplained signs have left both the public and investigators puzzled. What secrets are being concealed behind those walls? Unanswered questions continue to haunt, and this story is only beginning to unfold. Stay tuned for the latest updates, as the truth behind this case could completely change the way we view Gene Hackman and his past. Thank you for following along, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Gene Hackman, one of Hollywood's most legendary figures, known for his iconic performances that captivated audiences, has now become the center of a shocking FBI investigation, unraveling secrets that could change everything we thought we knew about him. What investigators uncovered at the scene of Gene Hackman's death was nothing short of shocking. Was it merely a tragic coincidence, or is there a deeper secret lurking beneath the surface? The unanswered questions surrounding his final moments raise unsettling possibilities. Let's dive into the mystery and uncover the truth. Before we unravel this shocking case, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you're fascinated by mysterious deaths, unexplained events, and complex investigations, you're in the right place. Stay tuned. This is a story you won't want to miss. The sudden death of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa remains shrouded in unanswered questions. While officially labeled a tragic accident, the circumstances surrounding the incident raise unsettling doubts that cannot be ignored. The strange inconsistencies in the case caught the attention of the FBI, and as investigators dug deeper, a far more chilling picture began to take shape. Puzzling details, suspicious clues, and shocking evidence slowly unraveled a mystery far more complex than anyone had imagined. The truth behind their deaths may be more terrifying than anyone ever imagined. More than just solving a mystery, uncovering the real reason behind their passing could reveal hidden dangers and help prevent similar tragedies in the future. On February 26, 2025, a shocking discovery sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found dead in their Santa Fe, New Mexico home, leaving behind a mystery that would soon unravel into something far more sinister. Gene Hackman, the legendary actor who captivated Hollywood with unforgettable performances in Unforgiven, The French Connection, and countless other classics, had spent the last 2 decades away from the spotlight. Retreating into a quiet life with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, a gifted classical pianist, he seemed to have left Hollywood behind. But now his peaceful existence had ended in a way no one could have predicted. On that fateful morning, a maintenance worker conducting a routine check in the area noticed something unsettling. The front door of the Hackman residence stood wide open, an unusual sight for such a well-kept home. After knocking repeatedly with no response, he hesitated before stepping inside. What he found would change everything. Gene Hackman lay motionless near the entrance, while Betsy Arakawa's body was discovered in the bathroom. Both had been dead for several days, their bodies showing advanced signs of decomposition, suggesting that no one had realized they were gone for quite some time. But the eerie details didn't stop there. Something about the scene felt disturbingly off, hinting at a mystery far more chilling than anyone could have expected. Inside a closet near the bathroom, one of their pet dogs was found dead, while 2 others remained alive in separate areas of the house. The unsettling discovery raised more questions than answers. Why was only one dog locked away and lifeless? Was it merely a coincidence, or could this detail be a crucial piece of the puzzle? As investigators examined the scene, the mystery surrounding Hackman and Arakawa's deaths only deepened. That was only the beginning of a mystery where every detail had the potential to change everything. What really happened to Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa? Was their death truly an accident, or is there a darker secret lurking beneath the surface? Stay tuned until the end of the video as we uncover the shocking truth behind this chilling case. At first glance, the scene seemed straightforward. Investigators found no signs of forced entry. The door was undamaged, there were no visible external injuries, and nothing appeared to have been stolen. It looked like a tragic case of an elderly couple quietly passing away in their home. But as authorities dug deeper, they quickly realized that nothing about this case was as simple as it seemed. The deeper they looked, the more unsettling the details became, unraveling a mystery far more complex than anyone had anticipated. Near Betsy Arakawa's body, investigators discovered several prescription medications strewn across the bathroom floor, including blood pressure and thyroid pills, raising suspicions of a possible medical emergency or even an overdose. However, a more common explanation, carbon monoxide poisoning, was quickly ruled out. In-depth testing found no gas leaks or abnormal levels of toxic fumes in the house. With one possible cause eliminated, the investigation took a darker turn, as authorities searched for answers that could explain the couple's sudden and mysterious deaths. A major breakthrough came when medical examiners analyzed data from Gene Hackman's pacemaker. The results confirmed that his heart had stopped beating on February 17, 2025, roughly 9 days before the bodies were discovered. This key detail helped pinpoint his time of death, but it also raised a chilling question. If Hackman truly passed on February 17th, What about Betsy Arakawa? Did she die alongside him, or had she survived for days after, alone in the house? The uncertainty surrounding her final moments added yet another layer of mystery to an already perplexing case. The mystery deepened when investigators reviewed the 911 call made by the maintenance worker, the first person to discover the scene. Initially, he reported finding only one body, but later, during the same call, he corrected himself, stating that 2 people had died. Was this just a slip caused by shock and panic, or had he seen something that made him hesitate? Could there be more to his story, something he has yet to reveal? As authorities scrutinized every detail, the case took an even more unsettling turn. Suspicions surrounding the couple's final days only deepened as investigators spoke with neighbors and family members. No one had seen or been able to contact Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa for nearly 2 weeks before their bodies were discovered. While the couple was known for their private lifestyle, the fact that their absence went unnoticed for so long seemed highly unusual. Why did no one check in sooner? Had someone ignored warning signs, or was there a reason their disappearance remained undetected? The growing list of unanswered questions suggested that this case was far from ordinary. The positioning of the bodies offered critical clues. Hackman was found lying in the hallway, suggesting he may have collapsed suddenly, possibly while trying to reach for help. Meanwhile, Arakawa was discovered in the bathroom, surrounded by scattered medications, implying she may have been attempting to take medicine in response to a crisis. Did she witness Hackman's final moments and try to intervene? Or had she suffered her own medical emergency, unaware that help would never come? The scene raised more questions than answers, deepening the mystery surrounding their final moments. But the most puzzling mystery revolves around the fate of the dogs. One was found dead inside a closet near where Betsy Arakawa had passed, almost as if it had hidden there in fear. Meanwhile, 2 other dogs, though severely dehydrated, were still alive in different parts of the house. What caused one dog to perish while the others survived? Was it simply a matter of isolation and lack of resources, or does this detail point to something far more sinister? As investigators dig deeper, the case only grows more perplexing, with each clue leading to even more unanswered questions. What really happened inside the home of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa? Was their death simply a tragic accident, or is there a hidden secret lurking beneath the surface, one that someone doesn't want the world to uncover? As investigators piece together the puzzle, each clue only deepens the mystery. Could there be something far more sinister at play? Stay tuned as we unravel the shocking truth. As news of the incident spread, theories swirled about the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Was it a tragic coincidence, a long-buried secret finally catching up to them, or something even more sinister? With each new revelation, the case became more perplexing, leaving the public and investigators searching for answers hidden in the shadows. Based on pacemaker data, medical experts believe Gene Hackman may have suffered a severe heart attack on February 17th, collapsing in the hallway with no chance to call for help. According to this theory, Betsy Arakawa may have heard the commotion and rushed to check on him. Realizing her husband was unresponsive, she likely panicked and ran to the bathroom to retrieve emergency medication. But it was there that another tragedy unfolded, one that would turn their quiet home into the center of a chilling mystery. She may have suffered a sudden medical crisis of her own, perhaps a heart attack triggered by stress or an undiagnosed condition. The scattered medications on the bathroom floor suggest a frantic attempt to find something that could save either her husband or herself. But before she could act, tragedy struck, leaving both of them helpless and turning their final moments into an unsolved mystery. However, this theory still leaves critical questions unanswered, one of the biggest being the strange death of the dog in the closet. Some speculate that the animal may have been sick and instinctively sought a hidden place to die, but more unsettling possibilities have emerged. Could the dog have ingested something toxic? And if so, could the same substance have played a role in the deaths of Hackman and his wife? As investigators dig deeper, the eerie details surrounding this case suggest that the truth may be far more disturbing than anyone first imagined. Despite extensive inspections, investigators found no traces of toxins anywhere in the house. This ruled out poisoning as a cause of death, but it did little to explain the strange circumstances surrounding the case. With no clear environmental hazards and no signs of forced entry, the mystery of what truly happened to Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa only deepened, leaving investigators searching for answers that remained just out of reach. Another unsettling detail is the 911 call made by the maintenance worker. At first, he reported discovering only one body, but moments later he abruptly corrected himself, stating that 2 people had died. Was this just a slip caused by shock and confusion? Or did he see something that made him hesitate? Could there be a detail he isn't revealing, something that changes the entire narrative? As investigators dig deeper, the inconsistencies in his account only add another layer of mystery to the case. Despite being questioned multiple times, the maintenance worker showed no signs of deception. His employment record was spotless, and he had worked at Hackman's house for years without incident. Yet his 911 call remains one of the most perplexing aspects of the case. Why did he initially report only one body? Was it a simple mistake in the heat of the moment, or did he see something that made him hesitate? While investigators found no direct evidence of wrongdoing, the lingering uncertainty surrounding his call keeps this mystery far from solved. Another unsettling mystery fueling speculation is the unusually long period of silence before their bodies were discovered. While Hackman and Arakawa valued their privacy, their complete disappearance for nearly 2 weeks was highly unusual. Close friends revealed that the couple maintained contact with a small circle of trusted individuals, making it even more baffling that no one noticed their absence. Why hadn't anyone checked in? Was this merely an unfortunate tragedy, or is there a deeper, more ominous truth lurking in the shadows, one that someone doesn't want the world to uncover? As investigators dug deeper into the case, they closely examined the couple's medical history. Gene Hackman, at 95, had a known history of heart disease and had been living with a pacemaker for years. Betsy Arakawa, though significantly younger at 65, also faced health challenges, including high blood pressure and thyroid disease. While their medical conditions could suggest a natural cause of death, the strange circumstances surrounding their passing, along with the lingering unanswered questions, hinted that there might be more to this story than meets the eye. The autopsy reports revealed crucial details but also deepened the mystery. Gene Hackman's cause of death was confirmed as cardiac arrest, aligning with his known medical history. However, Betsy Arakawa's autopsy left more questions than answers. While she exhibited signs of heart disease, experts were unable to determine with certainty whether she had died of natural causes or if the overwhelming stress of trying to save her husband had played a fatal role. The lack of a definitive conclusion only fueled speculation. Was this truly a tragic coincidence? Or was there something more sinister at play? The report also raised the possibility that she had fallen before her passing. Strikingly, one of their pet dogs was found dead from dehydration, apparently trapped in a closet for days without anyone realizing. The sudden deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa sent shockwaves through both Hollywood and the Santa Fe community. Hackman, who retired from acting in 2004, remains a Hollywood legend, best known for his iconic performances in Unforgiven and The French Connection, both of which earned him the coveted Academy Award. Betsy Arakawa, though less recognized by the public, was a gifted classical pianist deeply respected in the professional music world. They had been together since the early 1980s and married in 1991, sharing a deep and enduring love that spanned more than 4 decades. Despite their 30-year age difference, they were often regarded as one of Hollywood's most beautiful love stories. Close friends described their unwavering devotion to each other, adding weight to the theory that Arakawa may have died attempting to save Hackman. Another theory suggests that a prolonged accident may have led to both of their deaths. Hackman could have fallen and been injured on February 17th. Given their home's remote location and Arakawa's own physical limitations, she may have been unable to lift him or seek help in time. If this theory holds true, Arakawa may have spent days caring for Hackman until she either succumbed to exhaustion or suffered a serious medical issue herself. This would also account for the discrepancy in their time of death, as the condition of Arakawa's body suggests she may have passed away several days after Hackman. It could also explain why the dog was trapped in the closet. Perhaps it ran inside during a moment of panic and became stuck. Yet, one mystery remains. Why didn't Arakawa call for help? The investigation confirmed that their phone lines were operational and both had mobile phones with fully charged batteries. If Hackman was in distress, why didn't Arakawa call for help? Some theories suggest that Arakawa may have become disoriented or suffered a fall, leaving her unable to call for help. Others propose more unsettling possibilities, such as an intruder's presence. However, with no signs of forced entry or a struggle, this theory seems less likely. Still, investigators remain cautious and have not ruled out any possibilities. To this day, the case is filled with unanswered questions, and the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa continue to captivate public intrigue. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa remain shrouded in mystery, leaving both the public and investigators questioning whether a simple explanation will ever be enough. Was this merely a tragic sequence of natural events, or is there something more sinister lurking beneath the surface? The secluded house deep in the wilderness. The eerie silence stretching for days. The conflicting 911 call that raises more questions than answers. The unexplained death of the dog. All these details are scattered puzzle pieces that refuse to form a complete picture. Did Hackman truly collapse from a heart attack as the autopsy suggests, or was there an unexpected accident that left him helpless and unable to call for help? If he passed away first, why didn't Arakawa, who had spent decades devoted to caring for her husband, reach out for help? The biggest mystery investigators have yet to unravel is the unexplained gap between their times of death. Hackman's body showed signs of having died several days earlier, while Arakawa's condition suggests she may have survived for days after his passing. So what really transpired during those missing days? Did she struggle to survive, desperately seeking help? Or did she collapse from exhaustion after failing to save her husband? Some even speculate that Arakawa's death wasn't natural, but the result of injuries sustained while trying to assist Hackman. Could she have fallen? Or is there an unseen factor still waiting to be uncovered? The mystery deepens further with the strange detail of the dog being locked in the wardrobe. Why was the dog locked inside? Did it run into the wardrobe in a panic during the incident and accidentally trap itself? And if Arakawa survived for days after Hackman's death, why didn't she let it out? Someone as devoted to her family as Arakawa wouldn't have knowingly left her pet in danger. This unsettling detail only deepens the mystery of what truly happened inside their home. Why didn't Arakawa call for help? This remains one of the case's most baffling mysteries. The house's phone lines were functional, and both mobile phones had battery. What stopped her from making a simple call that could have saved her life? Some theories suggest she may have been disoriented due to injury or stress. But could that alone explain the eerie silence for days? Or is there a more unsettling possibility? Could an intruder have played a role in the chaos that led to their tragic fate? While there are no obvious signs of a struggle or forced entry, the eerie circumstances of the case make it impossible to rule out any possibility. At present, their cause of death remains classified as undetermined. Not clearly an accident, yet not officially ruled a homicide. This lingering ambiguity only deepens the intrigue of the case. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa spent over 4 decades together, defying a 30-year age gap and building a love that stood the test of time. But were their final moments filled with pain and despair, torn apart by cruel circumstances? Did Arakawa fight to survive, desperately trying to save her husband, only to succumb in the end? Or was something far more sinister at play within what appeared to be a peaceful home? The deeper we dig, the more questions emerge. Theories continue to swirl around this case, and even the smallest detail could reshape our entire understanding of what really happened. Public opinion remains split. Some see it as a tragic outcome of age and illness, while others feel something about the case doesn't add up. Are crucial clues still undiscovered? Is something being concealed? Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, truth can be stranger than fiction. The mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa continue to leave more questions than answers. Whether this was a tragic twist of fate or an unsolved enigma, the world has lost 2 remarkable souls who shared over 4 decades of love and devotion. Their story serves as a haunting reminder of life's fragility and the mysteries that lurk beneath the surface. Sometimes, the truth isn't in what's obvious, but in what remains unseen. Are there still hidden clues waiting to be uncovered? Will we ever truly know the whole story? No one has been able to fully answer the questions surrounding Gene Hackman's death, and even the FBI's recent discoveries have only added to the uncertainty. Whatever the truth may be, one thing remains certain: Gene Hackman's legacy will forever be etched in the hearts of his fans and in the history of cinema. While the latest findings may offer glimpses of clarity, this story remains wrapped in mystery. Thanks for watching. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. We'll keep following the case and bringing you the latest discoveries. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think really happened? Gene Hackman, a Hollywood legend whose iconic performances defined an era, is now at the center of a jaw-dropping FBI investigation. What they found at the scene of his death is nothing short of shocking. So, what's the real story behind Hackman's passing? Was it mere coincidence, or is there a deeper secret lurking beneath the surface? Let's dive into the mystery and uncover the truth. Before we unravel this shocking case, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you're drawn to mysterious deaths, unsolved enigmas, and complex cases, you're in the right place. The tragic deaths of Hollywood legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, remain shrouded in unanswered questions. Though deemed an unfortunate accident, the unsettling details surrounding the case suggest there's more to the story. The strange inconsistencies in the case caught the FBI's attention, and as their investigation unfolded, a far more chilling reality began to surface, filled with puzzling details, suspicious clues, and shocking discoveries. The attack caused him to collapse in the hallway, unable to call for help. According to this theory, Arakawa might have heard the noise and rushed into the bathroom. Upon finding her husband motionless, she may have panicked and gone to the bathroom for emergency medication. But it was in this moment that another tragedy unfolded. She may have experienced a health emergency of her own, possibly a heart attack triggered by stress or an undiagnosed medical condition. The scattered medications on the floor seem to support this theory, suggesting she was desperately searching for something to help either her husband or herself before ultimately collapsing. However, this theory still leaves many unanswered questions. One of the biggest mysteries is the strange death of the dog in the closet. Some believe the animal may have been ill and instinctively sought a hidden place to die. But more troubling theories arise. Could the dog have ingested something toxic? And if so, could this have been the cause of Hackman and his wife's deaths? Despite thorough inspections, investigators found no trace of any toxins in the house's environment. Another controversial detail is the 911 call made by the maintenance worker. Initially, he reported finding only one body, but moments later he corrected himself, stating that 2 people had died. Was this just a slip-up due to the shock of discovering the scene, or is there something more being concealed? Although the maintenance worker was interrogated multiple times, no suspicious signs emerged. His work records were spotless, and he had been employed at Hackman's house for many years. Yet, his 911 call remains one of the most perplexing aspects of the case. Another mystery that has sparked much speculation is the extended period during which the couple had no contact with the outside world. While they were known for their private lifestyle, the fact that they completely disappeared for nearly 2 weeks remains unusual. Close friends who were interviewed revealed that Hackman and Arakawa stayed in touch with a small circle of trusted individuals. The absence of any communication during such a long period raises a critical question. Was this just a personal tragedy, or is there a darker truth lurking in the shadows? As investigators delved deeper into the case, they meticulously examined the couple's medical history. Gene Hackman, 95 years old, had a known history of heart disease and had received a pacemaker several years prior. Betsy Arakawa, 65 years old and significantly younger, also had health concerns, including high blood pressure and thyroid issues. The autopsy reports provided crucial information, but also raised new questions about the cause of their deaths. Hackman's death was confirmed as cardiac arrest, consistent with his prior medical condition. However, Arakawa's autopsy didn't offer a clear conclusion. While signs of heart disease were present, experts couldn't definitively determine whether she died from natural causes or from the stress of attempting to help her husband. The report also suggested the possibility that Arakawa may have fallen before passing away. Additionally, one of their pet dogs was found dead from dehydration, seemingly locked in a closet for several days, with no one realizing it until the discovery was made. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa not only shocked Hollywood, but also sent ripples through the Santa Fe community. Hackman, who retired from acting in 2004, remains a legend thanks to his iconic roles in Unforgiven and The French Connection, two films that earned him the prestigious Academy Award. Betsy Arakawa, though not as well known to the public, was a highly talented classical pianist, deeply respected within the professional music community. They had been together since the early 1980s and officially married in 1991, forming a deep bond of love that lasted for over 4 decades. Despite their 30-year age gap, they were often celebrated as one of Hollywood's most beautiful love stories. Close friends describe them as always being deeply devoted to one another, which lends weight to the theory that Arakawa may have died while trying to save Hackman. Another theory being considered is that a prolonged accident led to the deaths of both. Hackman may have fallen and injured himself on February 17th. Given their remote location and Arakawa's own physical limitations, she may have been unable to lift him or call for help in time. If this theory holds true, Arakawa may have spent several days trying to care for Hackman until she either became exhausted or suffered from a serious medical issue herself. This theory also accounts for the discrepancy in their times of death. The condition of Arakawa's body suggests she may have passed away several days after Hackman. It could also explain the dog being trapped in the closet. Perhaps it ran in there during a moment of panic and got stuck, unable to escape. However, one mystery remains: why didn't Arakawa call for help? The investigation confirmed that their phone lines were functional, and both had mobile phones with fully charged batteries. If Hackman was in danger, why didn't she call for help? Some theories suggest that Arakawa may have become disoriented or fallen, sustaining injuries that prevented her from calling for help. Other theories propose more concerning scenarios, such as the presence of an intruder. However, with no signs of forced entry or a struggle in the house, this theory seems increasingly unlikely. Nevertheless, investigators remain cautious and have not ruled out any possibilities. To this day, the case raises many unanswered questions, and the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa remain a mystery that continues to captivate public attention. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa remain shrouded in mystery, leaving both the public and investigators struggling to accept any simple conclusion. Is this just a tragic series of natural events, or is there something darker being concealed? The remote house in the wilderness. The prolonged silence. The conflicting 911 call. The strange death of the dog. All of these details are like pieces of a puzzle that refuse to fit together. Did Hackman really collapse from a heart attack as the autopsy report concluded, or was there an unforeseen accident that left him unable to help himself? If he died first, why didn't Arakawa, who had devoted herself to caring for her husband for so many years, call for help? The biggest question investigators have yet to explain is the difference in the time of death between them. Hackman's body showed signs of having died several days earlier, while Arakawa's condition suggests she may have survived longer, possibly a few days after her husband's death. So, what happened during that time? Did she try to survive, seeking help, or simply collapse from exhaustion after futile efforts to save her husband? There's even a theory suggesting that Arakawa didn't die from natural causes, but from injuries sustained while attempting to assist Hackman. Could she have fallen? Or is there another factor that we haven't uncovered yet? The mystery deepens further when considering the detail of the dog being locked in the wardrobe. Why was the dog locked in? Could it have run into the wardrobe in a panic during the incident and accidentally gotten trapped? If Arakawa survived after Hackman's death, why didn't she open the door to let it out? A person who loved her family as much as she did would not have left her pet in such a dangerous situation. This detail only deepens the mystery, raising even more questions about what really happened inside their home. Why didn't Arakawa call for help? This remains one of the most puzzling questions of the case. The phone lines in the house were still working, and both of their mobile phones still had battery. What stopped her from making a simple call to save herself? Some theories suggest that she may have lost her bearings due to injury or stress, but could that truly explain the complete silence for several days? Or is there a more troubling possibility? Could an intruder have caused the chaos that led them to this dire situation? Although there are no clear signs of a struggle or unauthorized entry, the mysterious nature of the case makes it impossible to rule out any possibilities. Currently, the cause of their death is classified as undetermined, not entirely an accident, but also not conclusively a homicide. It is this ambiguity that adds to the allure of the case. We know that Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were together for over 4 decades, overcoming a 30-year age gap, and built a strong, enduring love. The truth behind their deaths may be more terrifying than anyone ever imagined. More importantly, exposing the real cause could be the key to preventing similar tragedies in the future. On February 26, 2025, a chilling discovery sent shockwaves through Hollywood. The bodies of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found lifeless at their home in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Hackman, a Hollywood powerhouse known for iconic roles in films like Unforgiven, The French Connection, and many others, had faded from the limelight nearly 2 decades ago, choosing instead to live a peaceful life with his wife, Betsy Arakawa, a gifted classical pianist. On the morning of that fateful day, a maintenance worker conducting a routine check noticed something unusual. The front door of the house was wide open, a rare sight for such a well-maintained residence. After knocking several times with no answer, he decided to enter. What he found would alter everything. Gene Hackman lay motionless at the entrance, while Betsy Arakawa's body was discovered in the bathroom. Both had been dead for several days, with signs of severe decomposition, suggesting no one had known about their deaths for quite some time. But the strange discoveries didn't end there. Inside a closet near the bathroom, one of their pet dogs was found dead, while 2 others were alive in different areas of the house. Why was only one dog dead and locked in the closet? Could this be a mere coincidence, or is it a crucial clue that could shed light on the mystery? That was just the beginning of a baffling case where every detail could alter the entire story. So, what really happened to Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa? Was their death truly an accident, or is something darker lurking beneath the surface? Stick with us until the end to uncover the truth. At first glance, investigators found no signs of forced entry. The door was intact, there were no visible injuries, and no evidence of a robbery. It initially seemed like a tragic case of an elderly couple passing away in their own home. But as the investigation progressed, it became clear that nothing about this case was as straightforward as it seemed. Near Betsy Arakawa's body, investigators discovered several prescription medications scattered across the bathroom floor, including blood pressure and thyroid medications. This raised suspicions that she may have experienced a medical emergency or possibly overdosed. However, carbon monoxide poisoning, often a cause of sudden death in homes, was ruled out. Extensive testing found no gas leaks or abnormal levels of toxic gas in the house. A major breakthrough came when medical examiners analyzed data from Gene Hackman's pacemaker. The results showed that his heart stopped beating on February 17, 2025, about 9 days before the bodies were found. This narrowed down the time of death, but it also raised a crucial question. While Hackman passed on February 17th, what about Betsy Arakawa? Did she die at the same time as her husband, or did she survive for some time after? The mystery deepens when considering the 911 call made by the maintenance worker, the first person to discover the scene. Initially, he reported finding only one body, but later in the same call he corrected himself, stating that 2 people had died. Was this just a mistake made in the shock of the moment, or is there something more he has yet to reveal? The suspicions surrounding the couple's final days continue to mount. Neighbors and family members revealed they hadn't seen or been able to contact Hackman and Arakawa for nearly 2 weeks before their bodies were discovered. While the couple was known for their private lifestyle, the fact that no one noticed their absence for such a prolonged period is highly unusual. The lingering question is, why did no one realize something was wrong sooner? The location of the bodies offers key clues. Hackman was found lying in the hallway, indicating he may have suddenly collapsed. On the other hand, Arakawa was discovered in the bathroom, surrounded by various medications, suggesting she may have attempted to take medication in response to a medical emergency. But the biggest mystery centers around the fate of the dogs in the house. One dog was found dead inside a closet near where Betsy Arakawa passed. almost as if it had sought refuge there in fear. Meanwhile, 2 other dogs were found in different areas of the house, dehydrated but still alive. What led to one dog's death, while the others survived? As the investigation deepens, more and more questions remain unanswered. What truly happened inside the home of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa? Was it merely a tragic accident, or is there a hidden truth being kept from the public? As soon as news of the incident spread, countless theories began to surface surrounding the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Based on data from the pacemaker, medical experts consulted by the investigation team believe Hackman may have suffered a severe heart attack on February 17th. But did they spend their final moments in pain and despair, separated by harsh circumstances? Did Arakawa struggle to survive, trying to help her husband, but ultimately failing and succumbing herself? Or is there something darker unfolding inside what seemed like a peaceful home? The deeper we dig, the more questions continue to arise. Theories continue to swirl around this case, and even the smallest detail could completely alter the way we perceive the events. Public opinion remains divided. Some believe this was simply a tragedy caused by old age and illness, while others sense that something is off about the details of the case. Are there crucial clues still undiscovered? Is something being hidden? Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, the truth is sometimes stranger than fiction. The mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa still leave many unanswered questions. Whether this was a tragic accident of fate or an unsolved mystery, we have lost 2 extraordinary people who shared over 4 decades of love and connection. Their story is a reminder of the fragility of life and the unknowns that surround us. Sometimes, the truth isn't in what's obvious, but in what we haven't yet discovered. Are there clues still being hidden? Will we ever uncover the whole truth? No one has been able to answer the questions surrounding Gene Hackman's death, and recent discoveries by the FBI still leave many uncertainties. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. Gene Hackman's legacy will forever live on in the hearts of his fans and in film history. The latest findings may offer some clarity, but this story remains shrouded in mystery. Thank you for watching the video. If you found this information interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for the latest updates. We'll keep following and providing updates as new discoveries emerge. Leave your thoughts in the comments section and let us know what you think about these findings. See you in the next one. In a case that has stunned the public and Hollywood, authorities are continuing to investigate the tragic and mysterious deaths of film legend Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. With the strange details surrounding their deaths, from the mysterious circumstances in their home to the unanswered questions about the timing of the event, this investigation has raised more questions than answers. In this video, we will provide the latest updates from the investigators as they reveal what they know so far and uncover the dark mystery behind this tragic story. Is there something hidden behind their deaths? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos about this investigation. Leave your thoughts in the comments about any doubts or questions you'd like us to continue exploring. Stay tuned as we analyze the latest findings. A Hollywood legend and his wife were found motionless in their home. A dead dog in the closet, medication scattered across the floor, the front door wide open, with no signs of forced entry. The final moments of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa are a tragedy shrouded in time, a story full of paradoxes. There are no signs of foul play, yet everything feels off. Why did they both die at the same time? Hackman's pacemaker recorded its last signal on February 17th, but their bodies weren't discovered until nearly a week later. What really happened during those lost hours? The autopsy report has yet to provide a conclusion, but one thing is certain: this story is far from over. No one could have predicted that February 26, 2025, would mark the final day for Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, the famous couple who had chosen a peaceful life in New Mexico after stepping away from the Hollywood spotlight, only to be found deceased in their own home. Initially, the police stated that there were no signs of criminal activity, but the details surrounding the scene continued to raise many unanswered questions. When a maintenance worker arrived at the large house in Santa Fe, he had no idea that he was about to witness a scene that would haunt him for the rest of his life. The front door was ajar, with no signs of a struggle or break-in, but when he looked through the window, he saw something unusual. Two people lying motionless, one in the kitchen and the other in the bathroom. A 911 call was made just before 2 p.m. on February 26. When neighborhood security and the police arrived, everything was engulfed in an eerie silence, a deathly stillness. There were no signs of violence or a struggle, Sheriff Adan Mendoza stated in a press conference on February 27th, but the details at the scene raised many questions. If you also feel unsettled by the details of this case, don't forget to like and share the video so more people can join the discussion. Also, feel free to leave your questions or thoughts in the comments below. We always want to hear from you. Do any of you have your own theories about the deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa? Share them with us, and let's uncover more about the mysteries that remain unsolved. Gene Hackman, the two-time Oscar-winning actor, was found collapsed near the kitchen area, while his wife, Betsy Arakawa, was discovered on the bathroom floor. Next to her was an open prescription bottle, and nearby, a space heater showed signs of recent use. Notably, one of their 3 dogs was also found dead in the bathroom closet. When investigators entered the mansion, they immediately realized this was no ordinary death. The front door was open, but there were no signs of forced entry, no stolen belongings, and the house showed no signs of disturbance or violence. Two of the 3 dogs were still healthy, but one was found dead in a closet. A space heater near the bathroom appeared to have been recently used. Medications scattered across the floor raised suspicions of poisoning, but if it was from the drugs, why did it affect both individuals at the same time? And why was only one dog dead, while the other 2 seemed unaffected? An important clue emerged: Gene Hackman's pacemaker. Data from this medical device showed its last signal on February 17th, nearly a week before his body was discovered. This information further complicated the investigation. If Gene Hackman had died on February 17th, why didn't Betsy Arakawa call for help? And when did she pass away? Sheriff Mendoza confirmed. We are still piecing together the information to establish the exact timeline. There are no signs of carbon monoxide leaks, no external wounds, but the police have not ruled out the possibility of foul play. Investigators have requested toxicology tests on both bodies to determine if any foreign substances are present. These tests typically take 4 to 6 weeks. Some initial theories have been proposed: drug poisoning, with the open prescription bottle in the bathroom being a key detail. It's possible that this was an accident, where one or both individuals accidentally used the medication incorrectly, or they may have inadvertently been exposed to a toxic substance. Health issues. Gene Hackman, 95 years old, had a history of heart disease. Could he have passed away first, and for some reason Betsy Arakawa died afterward? External intervention. Although there were no signs of forced entry, some details remain puzzling. An anonymous investigator mentioned that the circumstances surrounding the couple's deaths were suspicious enough to warrant a thorough search and investigation. Gene Hackman, a Hollywood icon known for his legendary roles in The French Connection, Unforgiven, Bonnie and Clyde, and Superman, had once graced the covers of prestigious magazines worldwide. He was a familiar face on the red carpet, receiving applause, flashes of cameras, and attending luxurious parties that stretched until dawn. However, after 2004, Gene Hackman suddenly disappeared from the public eye, with no official announcement of retirement or appearances at press events or award ceremonies. Hackman vanished, leaving behind a legacy that was only mentioned in memorials or alongside other living legends of Hollywood. Gene Hackman continued to retreat from the spotlight, distancing himself from the relentless scrutiny of Hollywood. Seeking peace and quiet, Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, who was 31 years younger than him, chose Santa Fe, New Mexico as their sanctuary. They selected a sprawling $3.8 million home nestled in the mountains, far from the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles. Here, there were no flashing lights, no lavish parties or paparazzi lurking. Just the two of them, their 3 dogs, and quiet afternoons passing by. Neighbors in the Santa Fe area recall that they rarely saw Hackman leave the house. Occasionally, in the early mornings, he could be seen sitting on the porch, enjoying a cup of coffee, and silently gazing at the distant mountain range. The man who once captivated attention in a police uniform had now become a frail figure, with deep-set eyes hiding a life full of untold stories. His life had become like an old film reel, each scene playing out slowly, with fragmented memories resurfacing every time he closed his eyes. Betsy Arakawa, who had once been doubted by Hackman's family when they first married, ultimately became the one who stayed by his side the longest. She cared for him with the unwavering dedication of an experienced caregiver, from every pill to every meal. But was her love truly pure, or was Betsy, like their Santa Fe home, a place of refuge that eventually became a cage, trapping Hackman in a solitary world from which he could never escape? Friends who visited Gene Hackman during his time away from Hollywood remarked that he was nearly unrecognizable. Once a prominent figure, he had become quiet and withdrawn, avoiding conversations about his illustrious career. He no longer watched his own films, and any new scripts sent to him were immediately rejected. In his last interview, Betsy Hackman revealed, "I haven't watched my films in many years. They belong to the past, not to me." From 2004 to 2024, for 2 decades, Hackman lived in near isolation. Though his body was still present, he vanished from the public eye, with no major events or appearances. The only time he was publicly seen was in 2023, when paparazzi caught him and Betsy having a meal at a simple seafood restaurant. He appeared noticeably frail, always leaning on his wife's arm as they walked together. Neighbors reported that Gene Hackman's house was always closed off from the outside world, but at night sometimes faint sounds of arguments would echo from within. The details of these conversations remain unknown, but it seemed that Betsy was always the one to end them. No one dared stay near the house for too long due to the strange atmosphere that emanated from it, an energy that was both unsettling and peculiar. For 21 years, no one saw Gene Hackman or Betsy Arakawa in public, and the silence surrounding them fell like a thick velvet curtain, closing the chapter on a legend while sparking countless theories. Some speculated that Hackman had fallen into depression after leaving the spotlight. Others believed that Betsy had intentionally isolated him, controlling every aspect of his life and his fortune. Whatever the true reason, Hackman chose to live in absolute silence, almost as if he wanted to erase his existence from Hollywood's history. In Hollywood, it is well known that disappearing doesn't mean being forgotten, but for Hackman, it was a deliberate choice. He turned down every interview, even declined prestigious honors like the Lifetime Achievement Award. People couldn't understand why someone who had dedicated his life to the arts would turn his back on it all. Hackman's silence became the first clue. No one can live under the spotlight for 40 years and suddenly vanish without leaving a trace. What was he hiding? A family secret? A shocking will? Or a personal pain that Hackman had never shared with anyone, not even his first wife, Faye Maltz, or his 3 biological children? When the call from the Santa Fe police came in that night, reporting 2 bodies in separate rooms and a mysteriously dead dog, all the suspicions that had been suppressed for 21 years suddenly resurfaced. Gene Hackman, the legend who once ruled the silver screen, was now just a name in a coroner's report. The silence before the storm turned out to be just the opening chapter of a much longer, darker, and far more painful story. The dirt roads leading to the upscale neighborhood on the outskirts of Santa Fe, New Mexico, where Gene Hackman and his wife chose to live in seclusion, always carried an air of quiet and solitude. The sunlight in this highland region was neither as intense as in California, nor as cool as in the eastern United States, but it cast a weary, faded glow over everything, as if the sky itself were waiting for something to happen. Amidst this landscape, Gene Hackman's luxurious home stood on a hill, overlooking distant mountain ranges, silently holding secrets that no one dared to mention. Neighbors living near Hackman's secluded home rarely saw Gene or Betsy outside. They were absent from local gatherings like weekend wine parties, avoided attending church, and never participated in the lively farmers' markets. When they did appear, it was only as fleeting shadows, quickly disappearing behind the tall iron gate. It was said that around 6 a.m., while the sun was still peeking over the mountains, Betsy would quietly take the elderly dog for a walk. She walked slowly, her eyes constantly scanning the area, as if fearing someone might be watching. The dog, slow and stiff, seemed to sense the unease that enveloped the air around their home. Less than 15 minutes after going outside, Betsy returned with the dog, gently closing the gate, as if afraid that the noise would disturb the silence within the house. Since Gene Hackman's health had begun to decline, he rarely left the house. The only person ever seen passing through the gate was a delivery woman, a middle-aged woman, her face etched with the marks of years of hard work. She would often mutter a few words as she left, but one time, when passing by the neighbor's house, she whispered softly, "There's something they're hiding in there, something big." No one knew if Betsy Arakawa had any close relationships outside of Gene Hackman, as she was a very private person. However, an elderly neighbor living right next to Hackman's property revealed that Betsy frequently made phone calls in the backyard. Her voice was always so low that it was hard to make out what she was saying, but occasionally, a few fragments of conversation drifted through the trees. "He's getting worse. No, we can't let anyone know about this. This house isn't safe." According to the neighbor, the calls always ended with a soft sigh, as if Betsy were carrying an enormous burden. Who was she speaking to? A family member? Or someone else who held the Hackman family's secret? No one could say for sure. But over time, the frequency of these calls increased, and with each conversation, the lines of worry on Betsy's face deepened. Gene Hackman's house, once praised by the media as an architectural masterpiece set amidst the wild nature, gave off an entirely different vibe to those who had stepped inside. It wasn't the chill from the climate or the coldness of the design, but a profound emptiness, an invisible sadness that seemed to hang in the air. The walls, decorated with numerous picture frames, mainly featured photos of Hackman and Betsy during their travels, sunset moments by the sea, and awkward smiles from family-free vacations. But strangely, there were no photos of Hackman's 3 children. The kids who once ran through the backyard of their Los Angeles home were now entirely absent from the space that should have been filled with family memories. Gene Hackman never publicly disclosed his health status, but according to neighbors, it was believed that he had been battling several age-related illnesses, from heart disease, arthritis, to spinal degeneration. However, the most frightening illness wasn't the medical diagnoses, but the invisible obsession that haunted the aging Hollywood legend. From Marlon Brando, Katharine Hepburn, to Greta Garbo, all the great icons of the Golden Age shared a common tragedy: being forgotten while still alive. For Hackman, who had been a box office guarantee for 3 decades, witnessing himself slowly fade into obscurity, only to be remembered as a distant legacy, was perhaps the most soul-crushing ailment of all. Betsy once shared with a neighbor in a rare conversation, "Gene doesn't watch his old films. He says they're from a different person, a life that no longer belongs to him." That was Hackman's way of severing the final tie to Hollywood, to his illustrious career. But the truth was, every night when the house was silent, Betsy would see him standing by the bedroom window, staring out at the distant mountains, muttering to himself. The whispers beyond the door were not the wind or mere illusions. They were unfinished conversations between Gene Hackman and his own thoughts. The man who once shone under the bright stage lights, believing that light would never fade. But when the door closed, the glamour of Hollywood dimmed, and all that remained was Gene Hackman, an aging, lonely soul, wandering in his own lavish home. Outside the cold iron gate, the world continued to turn, unaware of his absence. Gene Hackman slowly became forgotten, leaving behind only the gentle whispers, waiting for the truth to one day be revealed. The million-dollar house atop the hill in New Mexico, once filled with whispers and mysterious midnight phone calls, now stands still like a chilling crime scene. The red and blue lights from the police cars reflect off the adobe walls, casting an unsettling glow across the darkening sky. Neighbors gathered behind wooden fences exchanged glances, unable to imagine what had happened in the house that had been so quiet for so many years. The police had broken down the door, not because they received a distress call or a scream, but because the strange, prolonged silence in that house had become impossible to ignore. The delivery woman, a middle-aged woman with a face etched deeply with the marks of life's struggles, was the first to notice a strange smell, a mixture unlike the odor of decay or mold, but a bizarre blend of chemicals and rotting flesh. When the door was finally opened, investigators did not face a chaotic crime scene, but instead a chilling silence. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, now motionless and decaying, lay in separate rooms, each in a different position, but sharing the same tragic fate. Gene Hackman was lying on his back in bed, the blanket pulled up to his chest as though he had just drifted off to sleep after a long, tiring day. Betsy had tried dialing, or if she was simply the first to sense that something horrifying had happened in the house. Her wide-open eyes, pupils clouded, were fixed on the window, where the last light of the day still lingered. Had she tried to call someone, or was she simply staring out, waiting for something that would never come? When the police arrived at the scene, they discovered 3 dogs that had lived with Gene and Betsy. 2 of the dogs were still alive, lying close to their owners' bodies, their eyes red and swollen from fear and exhaustion. The 3rd dog, the largest one, the one Betsy had walked every morning, was found dead in the hallway between the 2 bedrooms. There were no signs of trauma, no blood, and no indication of a struggle. It seemed to have passed away peacefully, as if it had simply fallen asleep. The question remained, why did the 2 dogs survive while one did not? Could the gas in the house have been strong enough to affect all 3 dogs, or was something else at play before the gas reached the others? Was it a random event, or did someone deliberately ensure that only 1 dog would die? The forensic team immediately began inspecting the heating system, gas pipes, and appliances in the house, but the results sent a chill down everyone's spine. There were no signs of carbon monoxide leaks, no gas stove left accidentally on, and no evidence of electrical malfunctions. The toxic gas that had filled the house didn't seem to originate from any of the house's systems. A quick analysis left the entire investigation team silent. Traces of hydrogen sulfide, an extremely dangerous toxic gas with the odor of rotten eggs, were found in the air. Though this gas is difficult to detect at low concentrations, it was clearly present. However, its source remained a mystery. It didn't come from the pipes or drains, and it appeared to have been introduced from an external source, or worse, from inside the house. The deaths of Gene Hackman showed no signs of injury or struggle, and neither did Betsy Arakawa, aside from the fact that she had attempted to contact someone. Could their deaths have been an accident staged to look like a natural gas leak? But if that were the case, why were there traces of a gas that didn't belong to the house? The questions began to accumulate like invisible walls surrounding this mysterious house. Did Gene die before or after Betsy? Who was the first to notice the gas? Who was Betsy trying to call in her final moments? And if this was truly a murder, who could be cold and calculating enough to brutally kill an elderly couple in such a way? Ironically, while Gene Hackman's 3 children had drifted apart from him over time, they had always been prepared for the day their 94-year-old father would pass away. However, no one expected his death to come this way, taking Betsy, his wife, who was supposed to handle the funeral arrangements, with him. There were no answers about whether they had a joint will or separate ones. No one knew what Gene and Betsy had said in their final days. Could Betsy's secret calls be related to the toxic gas that claimed their lives? Or was she also an unwitting victim in a long-planned scheme? As the white sheets covered the 2 bodies, the million-dollar house fell silent once again, but this time, the secrets were no longer being kept. The funeral of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa took place quietly, just like their final years. No reporters, no media, only their closest family. But beneath the surface of that silence, there was an undercurrent of unanswered questions and suspicious glances creeping between the family members. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa left an irreplaceable void in the hearts of fans and those who knew them. But alongside the grief of their loss, there remain unanswered questions. Hollywood mourns a legend, but the mystery surrounding his death remains shrouded, like a curtain yet to be drawn. What really happened in the New Mexico house? The police confirm that the investigation is ongoing, while the film world and the public continue to wonder, was this a tragic accident? Or is there something hidden in the final moments of Gene Hackman's life, just days before the Academy Awards ceremony? Gene Hackman, one of Hollywood's greatest legends, was found dead alongside his wife in their quiet home. Is this a strange coincidence, or something more symbolic? Hackman, who won 2 Academy Awards, had long stepped away from the screen, but for the new generation of Hollywood, his name remains an eternal symbol. His death at this time evokes a sense of a final farewell, a mysterious ending to a brilliant life. Some fans wonder if Hackman was planning a return before his passing. Was there something he never had the chance to say? Whether it was a mere coincidence or something more profound, the death of a legend like Hackman during the prestigious award season of the film industry added to the sorrow. While the public buzzed with speculation, Hackman and Arakawa's family chose silence. There were no statements raising questions about their deaths, no calls for further investigation, only grief and regret. A close source revealed that they simply wanted to remember Hackman for the life he lived, not for the way he died. Does this mean the family believes it was a natural death? Or do they simply not want to face endless speculation? Whatever the answer may be, the family's silence only adds to the mysterious atmosphere. Especially since there were no signs of forced entry or disturbance at the scene, there are still strange details that remain unanswered. Why was Hackman near the kitchen as if he were trying to do something before collapsing? Why were there no calls from either of them in their final hours? Was the death of the dog beside them an important sign, or just a coincidence? All these remain puzzle pieces that haven't yet fit together. The final answer may lie in the official autopsy report. According to forensic experts, this will be the most important document to determine the true cause of death, the presence of any toxins or overdose, and the exact time of death for Hackman and Arakawa. If the report shows they passed away from natural causes, this mystery may come to an end. But if traces of any unusual substance are found, everything will change. The public is waiting, and in the meantime, Hollywood mourns the loss of an icon who passed in silence. Whether the cause of Gene Hackman's death is ever fully revealed or not, one thing remains undeniable: his legacy. He was one of the greatest actors of all time, leaving a profound impact on a generation with his iconic roles. He left Hollywood in peace, but his name has never been forgotten. As one audience member put it, "We've lost a legend, but legends never truly die." The curtain has fallen, but Gene Hackman's story will live on forever. Hollywood has witnessed many heartbreaking farewells, but few have left more questions than answers. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were meant to be a quiet moment to honor a legendary actor and his devoted wife, but instead, it became a mystery, a story with missing pages, an unfinished script. The investigation into their deaths remains officially open, but no suspects have been named, no criminal activity has been confirmed, and no clear cause has been established. Everything about the final days of their lives is shrouded in a cloud of contradictions. The scene in their New Mexico home was both peaceful and profoundly enigmatic. Two lifeless bodies lay in separate rooms, a prescription bottle open on a shelf, pills scattered across the bathroom floor, a heater near Arakawa's body, and a mysterious dead dog in a closet. But what was stranger than what was found were the things that were missing. No signs of forced entry, no signs of a struggle, no obvious wounds. The couple seemed to have ceased to exist, their lives abruptly and irrationally cut short. If no one had entered, and they never looked back, what happened in that house? Then there's the issue of time. Authorities estimate that Hackman's pacemaker recorded his last heartbeat on February 17th, but they weren't discovered until February 26th. 9 days of silence, 9 days with their house standing still, undisturbed, unseen by anyone. Perhaps the most haunting question is, did they die at the same time, or was one left behind? If Hackman's heart stopped on February 17th, what about Arakawa? Did she die at the same moment, or did she spend those lonely days in that house, with only the dogs left as company? The thought of one of them still alive, still breathing, still waiting, still wondering while the other had already passed, is almost unimaginable. The investigators have not yet released the full toxicology report, although they have ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning. This is significant because if carbon monoxide had been the culprit, their deaths could have been explained as an accident, but that's not the case. So what really happened? Hackman's children, though grieving, have not publicly questioned the circumstances of their father's death. No accusations, no calls for further investigation. Is it a silent acceptance, or perhaps something deeper? Gene Hackman made his final exit, but the echoes of his last days still whisper through the hallways of Hollywood. Hollywood mourns a legend. The Hackman family chooses silence. The police continue their investigation, but the truth remains hidden somewhere, concealed between autopsy reports, scattered pills, and secrets yet to be revealed. Gene Hackman may be gone, but his story is far from over. Thank you for watching this video. Although the investigation still doesn't have a clear outcome, we hope the truth will soon be revealed. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa remain a mystery, and we can only wait for further information from the authorities. Let's continue to follow this case together to learn more about what truly happened in their final days. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and share this video so more people can be informed. We'll see you in the next videos. The FBI expected an ordinary investigation, but what they uncovered inside Gene Hackman's multi-million-dollar estate sent shockwaves through Hollywood. The safe remained untouched, the front door unforced, yet the horrors within were beyond imagination. Hidden chambers, cryptic symbols, and chilling artifacts hinted at a sinister world lurking beneath the industry's polished surface. Beneath the dazzling lights of Hollywood lay a dark underbelly, rituals, forbidden gatherings, and whispered secrets that even the most scandalous tabloids dared not expose. The FBI didn't just uncover evidence. They shattered the illusion, peeling back Hollywood's shimmering facade to reveal the grotesque machinery beneath. Gene Hackman didn't just walk away. He fled from a truth too terrifying to ignore. What remained in his wake wasn't just a mystery, but a damning testament to an industry built on secrets, where fame wasn't earned. It was sacrificed. The sun cast long shadows over the quiet roads of Santa Fe as the Golden Gate sealed shut, locking away the whispers of a forgotten truth. Among the adobe homes and artistic landscapes stood a mansion, a retreat where Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa had sought refuge for over 30 years. Once a fortress of solitude for the Oscar-winning legend, it had kept Hollywood's noise at bay. But in the somber light of early 2024, those walls no longer guarded privacy. They entombed a chilling mystery waiting to be unearthed. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's fate came to light in the most unassuming way. The familiar glow from the glass-walled room at the back of the house, where Gene once lost himself in books, tea in hand, had vanished. The mail piled up, untouched, spilling onto the ground in a silent plea for attention. The mailman, sensing something was wrong, reported the eerie stillness. When the Santa Fe police finally breached the door, they stepped into a scene so haunting, so unimaginable, that it would leave even the most seasoned officers speechless. Gene Hackman's body lay motionless on the living room floor, his form contorted, his once familiar face frozen in an expression of something indescribable. Betsy Arakawa sat slumped against the sofa, her lifeless hand dangling as if she had reached for something. Perhaps help. Perhaps a final grasp at reality. No blood, no struggle, just an eerie stillness that sent a chill through the air. Yet, the putrid scent of decay clung to every corner, forcing even seasoned forensic officers to recoil. They hadn't just died. They had been gone far longer than anyone had imagined. The first words entered into the Santa Fe police report were brief but chilling. Silent death. The silence didn't linger. As word of their deaths slipped into the streets of Santa Fe, the air buzzed with whispers and unease. Some claimed Gene Hackman had been silenced, a calculated Hollywood purge to bury long-forgotten sins. Others spun a darker tale. Betsy Arakawa had been poisoned, and in a moment of anguish, Hackman had followed her into the abyss, unable to bear the weight of his final tragedy. Fact and fiction blurred, but one thing was undeniable. This was no ordinary passing, and the unease spread like wildfire. The case took an unsettling turn when the FBI arrived. The quiet death of a retired Hollywood legend rarely warranted federal attention, yet as soon as the local coroner completed their examination, a fleet of black SUVs rolled through the golden gates of Hackman's estate. No flashing lights, no sirens, just a silent procession of agents in dark suits and unreadable expressions. They moved with precision, disappearing into the mansion as if they already knew what they were looking for. The question spread like wildfire. Why would the FBI intervene in the death of an actor who had long vanished from the spotlight? It reached the public, but whispers from within the investigation hinted at something far more sinister. An anonymous source claimed that what the FBI found inside Hackman's Santa Fe mansion changed everything. This wasn't just the quiet passing of an aging couple, nor a collection of nostalgic keepsakes. Behind an old oak bookshelf, hidden in plain sight, they uncovered a secret room, a space so deliberately concealed that even longtime visitors had never suspected its existence. Gene Hackman had once joked, "If I have any secrets, they'll go with me to the grave." But now it seemed those secrets refused to stay buried. What lay inside that hidden room remains a tightly guarded mystery. But one thing was certain. It wasn't just about Gene Hackman. According to a source present at the scene, the documents seized by the FBI carried names that sent shockwaves through the investigation. Clint Eastwood, Dustin Hoffman, Jack Nicholson, even powerful political figures, were all listed in the aging, dust-covered files. Some bore the chilling stamp, top secret, for internal eyes only. It was as if Hackman had been more than just an actor. He had been a silent keeper of Hollywood's most feared secrets, a living archive of truths that were never meant to see the light of day. Once a titan of the silver screen, Gene Hackman now stood at the center of a far darker narrative, one of covert dealings, unbreakable oaths, and vendettas that had shadowed him for decades. The man who once commanded Hollywood now seemed entangled in something far beyond the glitz of cinema. And the FBI, wielding its full authority, moved swiftly, not to seek justice, but to ensure that whatever secrets lay within those walls would never reach the public eye. As the FBI convoy disappeared beyond the golden gates of Santa Fe, the mansion stood empty, a relic swallowed by the endless desert. But the silence it left behind was deceptive. merely the calm before a storm that would soon shake Hollywood to its core. Gene Hackman was gone, but the secrets he guarded refused to be buried with him. As the forensic lights pierced through the heavy curtains of Gene Hackman's Santa Fe estate, the mansion resembled a theater long after its final act. Dust coated the doorknobs, hairline cracks framed forgotten portraits, and an eerie stillness clung to the air, whispering untold stories no one dared to speak aloud. The forensic team moved like ghosts through the dimly lit halls, their silent footsteps tracing the echoes of both triumph and tragedy that had unfolded within these walls. But it wasn't until the master bedroom door creaked open that they truly crossed the threshold into an unsettling truth. There were no cinematic theatrics, no shattered glass, no desperate messages smeared across the walls, no trail of blood leading to a final revelation. Just an oppressive stillness and a lingering scent seeping through the wooden floorboards like a whisper from something long hidden, something the world was never meant to find. In that dimly lit space, Betsy Arakawa rested near the bathroom door, her head gently slumped to one side, eyes half open, as if caught in the moment between wakefulness and an unshakable fatigue. Her silver-gray silk robe bore scattered droplets of water, glistening under the forensic beam in delicate, ghostly patterns. Beside her, a small space heater remained plugged in, its power light pulsing weakly, a solitary flicker in the overwhelming darkness. Scattered around her were pills, some whole, others ground into a fine white powder. There were no pill bottles, no prescription slips, nothing to explain their presence. But when investigators later obtained a list of the substances, the truth became far more unsettling. These weren't ordinary medications. Many were highly restricted, requiring special authorization, reserved only for cases demanding intense supervision. Whatever Betsy Arakawa had ingested, it was never meant to be in the hands of just anyone. A few steps away, Gene Hackman lay on the master bed, his body curled slightly, one arm hanging over the edge as if reaching for something unseen. The face that once captivated audiences with its commanding presence was now frozen in a twisted grimace, somewhere between pain and an unspoken horror. The forensic team noted the chilling detail. His body showed signs of decomposition nearly identical to Betsy's. Whatever had taken them, it had happened in close succession. Minutes, perhaps hours apart, two lives fading almost in unison, leaving behind only unanswered questions. The most crucial discovery wasn't something visible. It came from Gene Hackman's pacemaker. For years, the device had silently monitored his heart, recording every irregular beat and transmitting data in real time to a medical center. But at exactly 2:43 a.m. on February 17th, the signals abruptly stopped. No final spikes, no distress alerts, just an eerie, absolute silence. That single data point became the key to unraveling the final moments within the Golden Gates of Santa Fe, marking February 17th as the day everything changed. But the anomalies didn't end there. Despite the bedroom's outward order, a closer look revealed unsettling details. On the nightstand lay an open planner for 2025, its early pages filled with mundane notes, Betsy's yoga classes, reminders to call the gardener. Yet as investigators flipped further, Gene Hackman's handwriting began to unravel. The once precise script turned shaky, ink smudged as if written with an unsteady hand. Some entries were violently scratched out, but one phrase stood untouched, circled 3 times with increasing pressure. They're watching again. A warning, a delusion, or a final desperate attempt to leave behind a truth he knew would soon be buried? Investigators also uncovered 2 phones. One, a sleek, modern smartphone still plugged into its charger. The other, an aging flip phone from the early 2000s, its surface worn from years of use. Neither device was locked, yet their call logs were eerily barren, as if someone had wiped them clean. For 3 weeks leading up to February 17th, there was almost no activity, but the most unsettling discovery lay within the old flip phone. Scattered among the sparse messages was a recurring text from an unknown number, always the same cryptic question: "Are you ready?" Each clue, the crushed pills, the erratic planner, the ominous text messages, felt like scattered fragments of a puzzle whose final image remained elusive. They were only scratching the surface, yet the deeper they looked, the more unsettling the picture became. As investigators combed through the estate, it felt less like a crime scene and more like a story interrupted, its final chapters still unwritten. The golden gates of Santa Fe had once guarded a life of triumph, love, and quiet retreat. Now they stood as the threshold to a mystery far more sinister, one that was only just beginning. The moment the bathroom door creaked open, the scene inside was impossible to forget. The golden light cast eerie shadows over a tableau frozen in time, as if the room itself had been caught mid-sentence in a story never finished. Betsy Arakawa lay slumped near the doorway, her body twisted at an unnatural angle, her head resting against the cold brick wall. Scattered across the floor were white and blue pills, some lodged beneath the cabinet, blending with the dust and a few stray strands of hair. A small space heater hummed nearby, radiating an oppressive heat that clashed unnervingly with the crisp February air outside. The forensic team hesitated at the threshold, struck by the unsettling contrast. This was no ordinary scene, and the answers it held would not come easily. But it wasn't just the scattered pills that made the scene unsettling. The small space heater, an otherwise mundane object, became the first anomaly that warped the entire picture. Investigators discovered that it had been running non-stop for days, ever since the estate's security cameras mysteriously stopped recording. The intense heat inside the bathroom didn't just distort the forensic timeline, it actively altered the state of Betsy Arakawa's remains. Instead of the expected signs of decay, her body had undergone a slow, unnatural drying process, almost as if it had been deliberately preserved. What should have been a straightforward investigation now felt like a carefully staged illusion designed to obscure the truth. Betsy's position defied the usual patterns of an overdose. There were no spasms, no foam at the mouth, no rigid limbs frozen in distress. Instead, she lay on her side, knees faintly bent, as if she had been caught mid-motion, reaching, hesitating. Her expression was eerily serene, untouched by panic or agony, yet her fingers told another story. Dry and brittle from prolonged exposure to heat, they clutched the edge of the wooden floor with unsettling delicacy. It was as if, in her final moments, Betsy had seen something, someone, just beyond the doorway. And whatever it was, she hadn't looked away. On February 26th, as the forensic team wrapped up their analysis, the FBI officially stepped in, not just because of Gene Hackman's status or the eerie nature of the scene, but because of one chilling anomaly: a phone, not registered to Hackman, not linked to Betsy. No fingerprints, no stored contacts, just a SIM card that had briefly connected to a number from an Albuquerque suburb, nearly 100 miles away. The call log contained only 3 incoming calls, all from an anonymous source. No messages, no outgoing calls, just a device left behind like a planted seed, waiting to be found. Who had placed it there? And more importantly, what message had it carried before silence swallowed it whole? It's likely that on the night of February 16th, when Gene Hackman's heart rate spiked, or on February 18th and 20, when his phone inexplicably left the estate, someone had entered the house. This individual may have been the owner of the unregistered phone or the driver of the black truck seen lingering near the property. They left no fingerprints, no trace on security footage, yet they moved with a knowledge only an insider could possess. They knew about the hidden safe behind the wardrobe, the estate's blind spots, and most chillingly, they returned after Hackman and Betsy Arakawa were already gone. Not to kill, but to retrieve something. What could be so valuable that someone would risk entering a home that had become a crime scene? And in the quiet, watchful community of Santa Fe, who had seen something, perhaps a shadow slipping through the night, an unfamiliar engine humming down the road, but chose to say nothing? "9 days, 3 phones, 1 ghost car, and a presence that moved through the estate like a shadow. Someone who understood that some secrets were never meant to be uncovered. In most cases, the crime scene tells a story, but in Gene Hackman's Santa Fe estate, it didn't just speak, it whispered, dropping fragments of truth like breadcrumbs, not to lead investigators forward, but to send them astray. And in the midst of it all lay a single, unassuming bottle of pills beside Betsy Arakawa's body. According to her medical records, her last prescription had been filled just days earlier, on February 15, 2025, 2 days before Hackman's pacemaker flatlined. The medication itself was routine. Alprazolam 0.5 mg of the same anti-anxiety prescription Betsy had taken for years. But as the forensic team examined the pills more closely, something was off. The shape was slightly irregular, the markings subtly different. It was as if someone had replaced the familiar with a near-perfect imitation, one designed not to soothe but to silence. One pill, Betsy, drifting into a peaceful afternoon nap. But when investigators counted the remaining pills in the bottle, the numbers didn't add up. At least 6 were missing between February 15th and February 17th. According to her log, Betsy had only taken 3. So where had the others gone? There were no records of an increased dosage, no medical reason for the discrepancy, which led to the real question: who else had access to those pills, and what were they used for? Then came the most unsettling discovery. Betsy's autopsy revealed a foreign compound in her system, something that didn't match any of her prescribed medications. It wasn't alprazolam, nor her usual heart pills or vitamins. It was something else entirely, a substance that wasn't supposed to be there, raising the most chilling possibility of all. Betsy hadn't just taken her usual medication. Someone had given her something else. It took the New Mexico State Toxicology Lab more than 72 hours to identify the foreign compound in Betsy Arakawa's system. The results were chilling. A synthetic sedative with no legal distribution in the United States. Its chemical structure resembled mazalan, but had been altered to act faster, inducing near-instant anesthesia and short-term memory loss, a formula commonly linked to abductions or carefully orchestrated deaths. Betsy had ingested this drug sometime between the night of February 16th and the morning of February 17th, the same critical window when Gene Hackman's pacemaker registered sudden irregularities. The evidence was no longer just circumstantial. Someone had been inside that house, not just watching, but taking deliberate action. At first glance, Betsy Arakawa's death seemed like a textbook overdose. A pill bottle beside her, scattered tablets on the floor, a half-full glass of water within reach. But to FBI investigators, the scene felt staged. The first red flag? Her body position. Overdose victims often collapse in unnatural, contorted ways, their muscles surrendering to the drug's effects. But Betsy was different. Lying neatly on her side, arms resting parallel, knees slightly bent, as if carefully placed rather than having fallen naturally. It wasn't the posture of someone who had lost control, it was the posture of someone arranged after the fact. The second red flag came from the pill bottle itself. Betsy's fingerprints were nowhere to be found. The only prints detected belonged to Gene Hackman, last seen handling the bottle at noon on February 16th, according to the estate's internal cameras. Then came the most damning detail. Betsy's stomach contained only trace amounts of alprazolam, far below a fatal dose. The real culprit was the unidentified sedative, the one never prescribed to her. This led investigators to a chilling realization. Someone had attempted to stage her death as an overdose, but lacked the patience or the knowledge to make it convincing. The setup was careless, rushed, as if the person behind it had other priorities beyond simply covering their tracks. Forensic analysis uncovered another disturbing anomaly. Someone had remained inside the house for at least 48 hours after Gene and Betsy's deaths. Subtle but telling traces revealed their presence. A set of footprints, size 43, made by specialized walking shoes, faintly imprinted on the bathroom floor. Smudged wipe marks on the bedroom door handle, as if someone had hurriedly cleaned it with a paper towel. Most chilling of all, the estate's internal security system had been manually disabled for exactly 2 days, from February 17 to February 19th, before being switched back on, with no new fingerprints found on the control panel. Whoever this person was, they didn't just flee after the act, they stayed. The question was, why? What kept them inside the house for 2 full days? And more importantly, what were they doing during that time? On the night of February 16th, someone infiltrated the Hackman estate, likely after days of careful surveillance. This wasn't a random break-in, it was calculated, deliberate. Betsy Arakawa was the first target. The intruder forced her to ingest the synthetic sedative, a drug designed to subdue and erase short-term memory, leaving her defenseless. As the drug took hold, she lost control, slipping into unconsciousness. Then came the moment of confrontation. Gene Hackman, realizing something was wrong, came face to face with the intruder. It was at this precise moment that his pacemaker recorded its first irregular spike, a surge that could have been triggered by sheer terror, a sudden struggle, or worse, chemical interference. The intruder didn't just kill, they lingered. After staging the scene to resemble a double overdose, they returned. either to erase evidence or to retrieve something they had failed to take the first time. If this theory held, then Gene and Betsy's deaths were no tragic suicide, as local authorities hastily concluded, but something far more insidious, a silent prescription. A calculated elimination, handed down by someone determined to bury secrets so dark they were worth killing for. And perhaps that prescription remained unfinished, because whatever the intruder was searching for may have never left the house at all. The once warm Santa Fe estate now stands as a hollow monument, frozen in time, its walls holding echoes of a story unfinished. Every window pane, every floorboard, every untouched surface lingers as an unanswered question, a whisper of something just out of reach. And within the quiet specters of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, a truth lingers, unspoken, unresolved, like a door left ajar, waiting for someone to finally step through. In the initial days of the investigation, the FBI thought they had found their breakthrough inside Gene Hackman's private study, a vintage safe, discreetly concealed behind a heavy oak bookshelf, its mechanical lock untouched. This was no ordinary vault. It was the kind Hackman had kept with him since his Hollywood prime, a testament to his deep-seated obsession with privacy. But more than that, it could be the gateway to the secrets he had safeguarded for a lifetime, secrets that now held the power to rewrite everything investigators thought they knew. When investigators pried open the safe, they braced for explosive revelations, hidden manuscripts, blackmail letters, or incriminating footage, something that could explain why Hackman and Betsy had been watched, threatened, and ultimately silenced. But instead, they uncovered a collection of peculiar relics. A faded handwritten letter from the 1980s, signed by a long-dead director entangled in an old Hollywood scandal. A small notebook chronicling secret meetings behind the scenes of film award ceremonies, gatherings no journalist had ever been allowed to witness, and a single USB drive labeled Nightmare Files. One of the most crucial pieces of evidence gathered by the FBI was a series of ominous messages Gene Hackman had received in the 6 months preceding his death. These weren't digital threats. No emails, no phone calls. Instead, they arrived the old-fashioned way, typed letters, devoid of fingerprints, with no identifiable postmarks. Each one was carefully crafted, as if the sender had gone to great lengths to ensure their words could never be traced. The letters were brief but deeply unsettling. "You know too much. Stay silent, or silence will find you." Gene Hackman had spent a lifetime brushing off such warnings, once confiding in a close friend that Hollywood was haunted by the ghosts of its past, specters that occasionally resurfaced to remind the living of their presence. He never truly believed he was in danger. As investigators delved deeper, Betsy Arakawa's story began to shift. No longer just the devoted wife standing quietly in her husband's shadow, but a figure entangled in something far more dangerous, a secret that the FBI had only begun to unravel. By mid-2024, Betsy had been quietly compiling documents on Hollywood's hidden forces. Tucked away in a kitchen drawer, her handwritten notes listed names that had long circulated in the darkest corners of conspiracy forums. DL, a renowned director accused of child abuse. HC, a media mogul known for silencing witnesses with both money and blood. AP, an actress who mysteriously vanished after threatening to expose an elite circle behind Malibu's secret parties. Betsy hadn't just stumbled upon these names, she had been searching for them, and now it seemed someone had made sure she wouldn't get any further. Betsy never shared her investigation with Gene, but she unknowingly left a digital trail. On her aging laptop, the FBI uncovered an unsettling pattern of searches, deep dives into the mysterious death of veteran actor David Careen, the suspicious suicide of Brittany Murphy, and leaked reports exposing human trafficking rings linked to Hollywood's elite. The real question wasn't just what Betsy had uncovered, but whether her relentless curiosity had sealed her fate before Gene's. Had she become a threat too great to ignore, drawing attention from forces that operated in the shadows? The FBI officially closed the Hackman-Arakawa case as an unresolved criminal investigation, but seasoned agents knew the story didn't end with a report. It was just another piece of a much larger puzzle, one where every revelation only deepened the darkness behind the spotlight. Those behind the threats against Gene Hackman would likely never come forward, but their presence was carved into the hidden corners of Hollywood. Vanished stars, contracts sealed in blood, deaths that appeared accidental but were, in reality, the final act of a carefully executed silence. The Santa Fe mansion is no longer just a crime scene. It stands as an unseen monument to the souls swallowed by Hollywood's abyss. What the FBI uncovered wasn't a resolution, but a doorway plunging straight into the industry's darkest depths. Among the evidence was Gene Hackman's final journal, now locked away in the FBI's most classified archives. The last pages were scrawled in a hurried, trembling hand. "They're getting closer. I don't know what I've done or what I've seen, but they know I know. If anyone finds this journal, understand that nothing in Hollywood is accidental. As for the USB drive, the so-called nightmare files, its contents remain a mystery hidden from the world. But according to one anonymous agent, what they saw inside made even those who had cracked the N4TM cult codes recoil in silence, their faces pale with something beyond fear." As night falls over the Santa Fe hillside, the Hackman mansion stands with its door slightly ajar, a quiet testament that Hollywood never lets anyone slip away in silence. In the city of dreams, every fallen star leaves behind a shadow, and those shadows always find a way to whisper to the living. The Hackman estate is no longer just a crime scene. It is a tomb, a burial ground for the forgotten souls of a Hollywood that rots beneath its own illusions. What the FBI uncovered wasn't an answer, but an entryway into something far worse. A descent into the very heart of hell, hidden behind the shimmering facade of the film capital.